Yes, we are here with one of the methods for connector assembly. First, we carefully strip a certain precise amount of the outer insulation, just like this. Then, exactly as clearly shown and specified in the detailed catalog measurements, we meticulously place our prepared cable into its designated position. The materials we need are a cutter, a stripper, and a marking pen. In our first method, as you can see here, it says 22. We mark both the beginning and the end of this 250 micrometer section after placing it here. Then we strip this part twice and cut it with a cutter. After that, we strip this part once, and then we complete our connector connection. We can do it quite quickly. We stripped it. Of course, the quality of the stripper you have, or various other factors, may not be the same for you. Here, you can also strip it gradually. Since my material and OBK are good, and I haven't had any issues, I can strip it in one go as well. Afterwards, we definitely use this alcohol wipe. Using an alcohol wipe is important, both for the health of our own skin, and also to make sure no residue is left on it. After doing this, so after stripping it twice, we bring the cable onto our cutter. Now the important point for us here is this. It says that this part needs to be 12 millimeters, this measurement, according to the catalog. So I'm trying to adjust this part here to 12. Look, it says 13 here and 18. I don't know how well you can see it, but it says 13 and 18. For example, it says 8 here. You can probably see it. Since I was given 12 as the measurement here, I'm setting it to 12 millimeters. This. I placed it just a notch past 13, and now I'm closing it. I cut it. Every cutter has its own unique feature. Since the cutter you have already has a measurement on it, you can easily use this method. Very easily. The measurement amounts are already written on it like a ruler, so you can see them. So what will we do next? We strip the remaining piece starting from the point we've marked. I say the point we've marked because that's what will pull it upwards. In other words, it will also tend to pull the inner piece forward. We'll push the point we've marked back later. I want the exact point I've marked to be visible. I'm trying to do it millimetrically. That's why I took it from here. And this part goes back. I'm pushing it so that there won't be any deviation or difference in the measurement. Of course, what I should have done beforehand is, don't do it like I did. It turned out to be a good example. You should have passed this piece through at the very beginning. You need to have done it beforehand. I'm checking. Is this part of the connector open? I mean, can I push the cable through? That's what I'm wondering. Then I push the cable through here, towards the inside. Of course, I don't know how much is visible on camera. After pushing it through, I made it curved. I shaped the curve, and I'm closing the lock. It's best not to overdo it. The curved part, since I've pushed it through, I can now close the lock. Here, with the curve remaining, we are done with the closing process. All that's left is to attach the green piece here. If we consider this side as up, the notch should be at the bottom. I'm fitting it in place, and my connector connection is ready. This time, we'll apply it for short connectors. There's an important point we need to pay attention to here. There is the part that says 8 millimeters here should actually be 10 millimeters. Due to a printing error, it appears this way. If you measure it according to 8 millimeters, you'll see that there's an error in the measurement and you can't create the required curve. Let's move on to the application if you like. First, we strip a certain amount from the end. And with our pen, with our marker pen, like this, we precisely mark both ends of the 20 millimeter segment, that is to say, the entire 250 micrometer section of the fiber. We've done this. Next, let's use our stripper to strip the section that needs to be stripped twice. We've stripped it. We've stripped the second part as well. Since my equipment is sturdy, I stripped this part in one go. But depending on the material you have, whether it's OBK or the type of stripper, you can also strip it in 2 stages. Next, I place it into the cutter here. While placing it, as I mentioned earlier, I try to adjust it to 10 millimeters. Here, it's between 13 and 18 millimeters. I don't know how much is visible on camera, but I try to bring it to 10 millimeters. We close it. We move on. Then, again, I strip the very first part in a single stage. And I make sure to start from the point I marked, because it's going to pull it up by a certain amount anyway. I discard the extra part that I pulled off. And again, the piece that I should have threaded from the very beginning, this piece right here. Normally, you need to do this at the very start. so don't do it like I did. It actually turned out to be a good example. I'm checking the connection of the quick connector here. Is it fully seated, or is this locking part not in place? That's what I'm checking. I'm holding the Kevlar cable underneath. When I push it forward, you can already see how much slack it takes up. You don't need to overdo it, but on the connector you'll notice there are teeth right here. You'll see this when you examine the one in your hand. I'm trying to make sure the thick cable sits properly on these teeth. I pulled it back a little. Yes. Now I can pull this out. And I'm making the connection. Our connector is ready.